Welcome to Wealth Wisdom Daily, the place where we don't just talk about money, we change the way you think about it. Because the truth is this, most people are trapped in a financial hamster wheel, running faster, working harder, chasing bigger paychecks, but never truly moving forward. And today, we're going to rip the mask off one of the biggest lies keeping people broke. That if you just earn more, you'll finally be free. But the rich, the truly wealthy, they don't think like that. They don't chase higher salaries. They chase ownership, assets, equity, control. Because when you own, money works for you. When you only earn, you work for money every single day until you break. So in this video, we're diving deep into the mindset shift that separates the poor from the wealthy, not by how hard they work, but by what they choose to own. If you're tired of trading your time for money, if you're done being overworked, underpaid, and replaceable, then this might be the moment that changes everything for you. Let's begin. Why you can double your income and still be broke. You can work harder. You can pick up new skills. You can land a better job, earn a higher salary, maybe even double what you make now. And yet, you can still be broke, still stuck, still worried about money every month. This isn't a theory, it's a reality for millions of people. And it happens for one simple reason. Because most people think income equals wealth. They believe that if they just earn more, everything will get better. But it doesn't. Earning more doesn't automatically lead to freedom. In fact, if you're not careful, it can trap you deeper. The world has conditioned you to believe that the key to success is a bigger paycheck. From the time you were a child, the message was drilled into you. Go to school, get a good job, climb the ladder, earn more. But nobody told you the truth. If your money stops the moment you stop working, you are not rich. You're just temporarily paid. And you're one crisis away from losing it all. Because income is temporary. Ownership is what lasts. Here's what most people don't realize. You can make 6 figures a year and still live paycheck to paycheck. You can have a high-status job, a shiny car, and designer clothes, and still be financially fragile. Because if you own nothing, you have nothing. You're building your life on rented ground. You're renting your house, leasing your car, spending your income on things that lose value. And worst of all, you're trading your time, your most precious asset, to build someone else's dream. That's the truth they never taught you in school. Because when you earn money, you're selling your time. But when you own something, it earns money for you, even while you sleep. And this is where the mindset of the rich is completely different. Rich people don't wake up thinking, how can I earn more? They wake up thinking, what can I own that will earn for me? They don't chase higher salaries. They chase ownership of assets, of businesses, of intellectual property, of real estate, of equity. They use their income as a tool, not a goal. They turn cash into capital. They turn effort into equity. They take what they earn and use it to build something permanent. Because they know this: if you don't own anything, you're working to make someone else rich. You're working for the person who owns the company, paying rent to the person who owns the property, spending money with the person who owns the brand. In the end, you're doing the hard work, and someone else is collecting the reward. And you'll keep doing it until you change how you think about money. Because income is not wealth. It's just a temporary exchange. And the moment you stop working, it disappears. Ownership is what builds freedom. It keeps paying you when you rest. It multiplies while you sleep. It protects you when life gets hard. So the real question is not, how much do you earn? It's, what do you own? If your answer is nothing, then no matter how much money you make, you are still financially vulnerable. But here's the good news. You can change that. And it starts with a simple mindset shift. Stop chasing income. Start building ownership. Even if it's small, even if it's slow, even if it's just one tiny asset at a time. Because the poor focus on how much they earn. The rich focus on what they own. If you want freedom, wealth, and security, you don't need more hours. You need more ownership. This is the difference that will define your future. And that future starts the moment you choose to stop trading time for survival and start building something that earns without you. That's the path to wealth. That's the power of ownership. That's where we begin. The trap of only earning. Why working harder won't make you rich. Most people think they have a money problem, but what they really have is a structure problem. They have built their entire financial life on a single, fragile pillar: active income. If they stop working, the pillar collapses and everything falls with it. So what do? They try to reinforce that single pillar by working harder. They take on extra shifts. They work overtime. They start a side hustle that's really just another job. They fill every available hour with labor. It feels like progress, but it's not. It's just a faster treadmill. Here's the truth. You can't hustle your way to freedom if every dollar depends on your effort. The trap of only earning is that the more you work, the more you lock yourself into a system where you can never step away. The limit of time and energy. No matter how ambitious you are, you can't work 24 hours a day. No matter how skilled you are, your energy will run out. Even the highest paying careers have ceilings, and those ceilings are controlled by someone else. The trap is simple. If your income is tied to your time, then you have a built-in limit. You can only sell so many hours. You can only push so hard before burnout hits. And when it does, your income collapses instantly. That's not a path to wealth. That's a path to exhaustion. Why the system wants you to keep earning, not owning. The corporate system is designed to keep you in the earning phase forever. When you're earning, you're dependent. You have to keep showing up. You have to keep following the rules. You can't walk away. The system benefits from your effort because every hour you give is building someone else's asset, not yours. You're not the owner of the business, the brand, the property, or the intellectual property. You're the labor force keeping it alive. And the more you earn, the more you spend on things you don't own, which means you need to keep working forever. The illusion of the high-income lifestyle. Many people fall into this second layer of the trap. They start earning more and immediately upgrade their lifestyle. A bigger house, rented or mortgaged to the limit. A nicer car, leased, not owned. More vacations, more gadgets, more dining out. It looks like success. It feels like progress. But in reality, they've simply raised the cost of their survival. Now, they can't afford to stop working for even a month without everything collapsing. They've trapped themselves in a more expensive cage. The shift that breaks the trap. The only way out is to stop seeing income as the end goal and start using it as a tool of ownership. When you take a portion of what you earn and use it to acquire assets, things that pay you without your constant involvement, you begin to build pillars that stand on their own. Instead of one fragile pillar of active income, you start building multiple, independent pillars. A property that generates rent, a portfolio of stocks that pay dividends, a business that sells without you being there, a digital product that can be purchased 1,000 times without extra work. Each of these pillars adds stability to your financial life, and the more pillars you have, the less dependent you are on any one of them. The painful truth about hard work. Hard work alone will never make you rich. If it did, every construction worker, every nurse, every delivery driver would be a millionaire. They work harder than most CEOs, but they don't own the system they're working in. Hard work is necessary, but it's not sufficient. If your hard work isn't building something you own, it's building something for someone else. And the clock is always ticking. Ask yourself this question. If you stopped working today, how long would your money last? A week? A month? A year? Or would you be in trouble by next Friday? If your answer scares you, that's your wake-up call. Not to work harder, not to find another job, but to start building ownership now. From trap to freedom. The poor and middle class stay trapped because they think the solution is to run faster. The wealthy escape because they realize the solution is to change the game. The trap of only earning is powerful, but it's only permanent if you never change your mindset. Once you start seeing income as a means to acquire ownership, every dollar you earn becomes a soldier you send out to work for you. And the day your soldiers earn more than you do, that's the day you step out of the trap for good. The ownership mindset, how the rich play a different game. Once you understand the trap of only earning, the next step is to see how the wealthy play by a completely different set of rules. Poor and middle-class people measure success in terms of how much they earn. The wealthy measure success in terms of how much they own. This difference in measurement changes everything. What they focus on, how they spend their time, how they use their money, and even how they think about risk. The game of the poor versus the game of the rich. The poor and middle class play the short game. They focus on the next paycheck, the next raise, the next promotion. Their horizon is measured in days, weeks, or at most, months. The wealthy play the long game. They focus on assets that will still be paying them decades from now. They measure success not by their next payday, but by the stability and growth of their ownership portfolio. This shift in focus allows the wealthy to make decisions most people wouldn't understand. They may choose to earn less in salary now if it means they can acquire a piece of a business that will pay for years. They may delay gratification for years because they're building something that compounds in value. From laborer to owner. Most people never make the mental leap from "I work for money" to "my money works for me." The wealthy see their money as employees. Every dollar they own is like a worker they've hired, and their job is to send those workers out to bring back more dollars. If a wealthy person earns $10,000, they don't ask, "What can I buy?" They ask, "What can I own that will make this $10,000 bring back $1,000 every month?" It's a completely different mindset, one that builds wealth automatically. Why ownership is the ultimate leverage. Time is limited, energy is limited, but ownership is unlimited. When you own an asset, it can be working for you 24/7. A rental property can be earning rent while you're on vacation. A stock portfolio can be generating dividends while you sleep. A business can be making sales in every time zone without you being there. This is leverage, the ability to multiply your results without multiplying your effort. And the wealthy know that true freedom comes not from working harder, but from owning things that do the work for you. What the wealthy choose to own. Wealthy people focus on acquiring assets that meet 3 criteria. They generate consistent cash flow, so the asset is not just a paper value, but something that pays regularly. They appreciate in value over time, so even if the cash flow stops, the asset itself is worth more. and they can be leveraged to acquire more assets using equity, credit, or partnerships. Examples include equity in businesses, private or public, income-producing real estate, intellectual property like books, courses, patents, or software, high-demand digital assets such as websites, brands, or subscriber lists. These are assets that not only make money, but also give control. Control versus labor. When you're an employee, you have very little control. Your hours, your income, your projects, all decided by someone else. When you're an owner, you control the asset, and therefore you control the income. This is why the wealthy focus so obsessively on ownership, because the one who controls the asset controls the outcome. The scarcity mindset versus the growth mindset. Poor and middle-class people operate from a scarcity mindset. How can I make sure I don't run out of money this month? This mindset leads to defensive financial decisions, cutting costs, working more hours, avoiding risks at all costs. The wealthy operate from a growth mindset. How can I turn the money I have into an asset that will grow? This mindset leads to offensive financial decisions, investments, acquisitions, and scaling. The key difference is the wealthy are not just looking for income, they are looking for multiplication. Building the ownership mindset for yourself. Adopting this mindset doesn't require millions of dollars. It starts with changing one question. Instead of asking, how can I earn more? Ask, what can I own that will earn for me? From that question, everything changes. You'll stop spending everything you make. You'll start looking for opportunities to acquire assets, even small ones. You'll see your job not as the end goal, but as the funding source for your future ownership. Over time, these small ownership decisions compound into real wealth, the kind that can't be taken away overnight. The wealthy don't play to work forever. Poor and middle-class people plan their life around a career. The wealthy plan their career around ownership. For the poor and middle class, the job is the prize. For the wealthy, the job is just one tool, and they'll set it down the moment they don't need it anymore. This is why the wealthy retire earlier, work on what they love, and have time freedom while others are still grinding away for a paycheck. The takeaway. The ownership mindset isn't about greed or materialism. It's about control. It's about freedom. It's about building something that stands whether you're working or not. Because when you own, you're no longer at the mercy of a boss, a market downturn, or an economic crisis. You own the foundation you stand on. And that changes everything. The difference between income and assets. Why you can't confuse the two. One of the biggest financial mistakes people make is confusing income with assets. They think that because they earn more money, they are automatically building wealth. But income and assets are not the same thing. And if you mix them up, you can work your entire life and have nothing to show for it. Income, what you earn. Income is the money that flows to you in exchange for your time, skills, or labor. It could be your salary, your hourly wage, or the payments you receive for the work you do. Income is temporary. It depends on your constant effort. It stops the moment you stop working. It has to be earned again over and over just to keep your life running. This is why so many people feel like they're starting from zero every month. They work, they get paid, they spend it all, and then they start again. No matter how high their income goes, the cycle repeats. Assets, what you own. An asset is something you own that continues to produce value, income, or growth over time. Assets do not require you to trade hours for money. They work for you, whether or not you're working. Assets can be a rental property producing monthly income, stocks that pay dividends, a business that runs without you, intellectual property like books, patents, or digital products. even systems or brands you control. The key difference is that assets keep paying you even if you never lift a finger again. Why people confuse the two? The reason people confuse income with assets is because both bring in money, but the source and sustainability are completely different. Income says, work today, get paid today. Assets say, build today, get paid forever. Income requires constant input. Assets can survive without you. And over time, assets can multiply in value, while income remains limited by your capacity to work. The dangerous illusion of a high income. Many people believe they're financially secure because they have a high salary. But if that salary stops, how long could they survive without selling something they own? For most, the answer is not long. That's because a high income without assets is like renting luxury cars without ever owning one. It looks good, but you're one missed payment away from losing it all. How the wealthy use income differently. The wealthy understand that income is just fuel. It's not the destination. They use their income to acquire assets. When they get paid, they don't immediately spend it on lifestyle upgrades. They invest it into something that will keep paying them. Over time, their assets generate enough income to cover their entire lifestyle, and at that point, they no longer depend on a paycheck. Why assets are the true measure of wealth. Real wealth isn't measured by how much you make. It's measured by how long you can maintain your lifestyle without working. If you can stop working today and your assets keep paying for your life indefinitely, you are wealthy. If you have to go back to work in a few weeks or months because the money runs out, you are not. It's that simple. From income-focused to asset-focused. If you want to make the shift from income to assets, start with these steps. Track your current income sources and separate them into earned income and asset income. Commit to using a portion of your earned income every month to buy or build assets. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Don't let higher income turn into higher expenses. Aim to replace your earned income with asset income over time. The rule to live by. Income is what feeds you today. Assets are what feed you forever. If you spend your entire life chasing income, you will always be one step away from financial insecurity. If you spend your life building assets, you will reach a point where money works harder for you than you do for it. That's when you're free. If you don't own it, you're making someone else rich. There's a hard truth that many people never fully grasp. If you don't own the thing that's making money, then you are the one making money for someone else. It's not personal. It's just how the system works. Every dollar you spend, every hour you work, every contract you sign is helping someone's asset produce more value. And if it's not yours, then that value is flowing into someone else's pocket. The invisible flow of wealth. Wealth is constantly moving. It's always flowing from one place to another. The question is it flowing to you or away from you? When you pay rent, it flows to your landlord. When you lease a car, it flows to the company that owns it. When you work for a business, it flows to the owners and shareholders of that business. When you buy products, it flows to the brand owners and their investors. The structure of our economy ensures that the people who own the assets are the ones who capture the wealth. Everyone else simply transfers it to them. The harsh reality of being a non-owner. If you're not an owner, you're a participant in someone else's wealth-building plan. Your time, your money, your decisions are making their assets more valuable. That's why some people seem to keep getting richer without working more hours, because they've set up the system so that you work for them, spend with them, or rent from them. And it's why you can work harder every year and still feel like you're not moving forward, because your labor is fueling their growth, not yours. Why ownership equals power. Ownership isn't just about having nice things. It's about controlling the source of income. When you own, you decide how it's run, what it produces, who benefits from it, how the profits are used. When you don't own, you have none of that control. You can be cut off, replaced, or priced out at any moment. Ownership is stability. Non-ownership is dependency. Every transaction builds someone's wealth. Look around you. Every subscription you pay for, Netflix, Spotify, gym memberships, is building someone else's asset. Every meal you buy at a restaurant is supporting the owner's business. Every hour you spend at your job is helping the shareholders grow their investments. The wealthy understand this, which is why they focus on being on the receiving side of these transactions. From consumer to owner. Most people are stuck in the consumer mindset. They see something they like, they spend money to get it, and that's the end of the story. Owners think differently. They ask, how can I be the one providing this? How can I be the one people pay every month? This shift from consumer to owner is what changes the game. It means moving from being a source of revenue to being the recipient of revenue. Turning the flow of wealth in your direction. You can't stop spending money entirely, but you can start redirecting the flow. Every time you make a financial decision, ask, can I own a piece of this? Can I create something similar? Can I invest in the source instead of just buying the outcome? If you rent, consider saving to buy. If you constantly buy from one brand, consider investing in their stock. If you have skills people pay for, consider creating a product once and selling it over and over. The bottom line, if you don't own the asset, you are the asset. You are the labor, the customer, or the tenant that someone else relies on to build their wealth. There's no middle ground. The only way to change that is to start building ownership, no matter how small, so that the flow of wealth begins moving toward you. Because every day you delay is another day you're working to make someone else rich. Salaries have limits. Ownership does not. No matter how talented, dedicated, or ambitious you are, your salary has a ceiling. That ceiling might be higher for some careers than others, but it's always there. And here's the uncomfortable truth. That limit isn't set by you, it's set by someone else. Your salary is tied to a job description, a budget, an industry standard, and the decisions of people above you. You might be able to negotiate a little more, you might get periodic raises, but those increases are small, incremental, and controlled by forces you don't own. Ownership doesn't work like that. Ownership has no ceiling. It has no fixed maximum. It can multiply far beyond what any salary could ever provide. The linear nature of salaries. A salary grows in a straight line, slowly and predictably. You work more years, you gain more experience, you might move to a higher paying role. But even in the best case scenario, salaries grow at single-digit percentages per year. And they are always tied to your personal effort and presence. If you stop showing up, the salary stops instantly. This is the linear nature of active income. It only grows step by step and only as long as you keep walking. The exponential nature of ownership. Ownership is different. When you own an asset that produces income, its value and earnings can grow exponentially, sometimes overnight. A business you own can double or triple in revenue without doubling or tripling your workload. A piece of real estate can appreciate in value rapidly while also generating rental income.
A digital product can be sold thousands of times with zero extra labor after it's created. A stock investment can skyrocket in value due to market demand or company growth. The growth potential of ownership is not bound by your time or energy. It's bound only by the scalability of the asset itself. Why the wealthy choose ownership over salary growth. Wealthy people understand that chasing a bigger salary is like climbing a staircase with low steps. You'll get higher, but it's slow and exhausting. Ownership, on the other hand, is like riding an elevator that can shoot you up multiple floors at once. This doesn't mean they don't value income from work. They do, but they see it as fuel for acquiring assets, not the final destination. The trap of the high-paid employee. One of the most dangerous financial positions is being a high-paid employee with no assets. It feels secure. You have a strong paycheck, good benefits, and maybe even prestige in your industry. But you're still dependent. You're still vulnerable to layoffs, corporate restructuring, or economic downturns. And if the income stops, you have nothing that continues to generate money in your absence. That's not wealth. That's a high-maintenance form of survival. Why ownership keeps growing even when you don't. The magic of ownership is that it decouples your wealth from your personal labor. Assets can keep earning when you take a break, when you're on vacation, or even when you're asleep. And the compounding effect is powerful. A property can rise in value while collecting rent. A business can expand into new markets while you're working on something else. Investments can produce dividends that are reinvested to create even more income. This compounding is what allows ownership to far surpass the growth potential of any salary. Shifting your focus from maximum salary to maximum leverage. Instead of asking, "What's the highest salary I can get?" ask, "What's the highest leverage I can create?" Leverage is what happens when your results grow faster than your effort, and ownership is the ultimate form of leverage. The sooner you redirect your energy from chasing salary increases to acquiring scalable assets, the sooner you step off the slow, linear path and onto the fast, exponential one. The bottom line: a salary will always have a limit. Ownership will always have the potential to grow. The question is simple. Do you want to live your financial life hitting ceilings or breaking through them? Poor people rent their life. Rich people own the ground they stand on. For most people, life is rented. They rent their home, their car, their tools, their office space, even their lifestyle. Everything they use to live their daily life is borrowed from someone who actually owns it. The wealthy see this differently. They don't want to rent their life. They want to own the foundation they stand on and then build on top of it. Renting is paying for permission. When you rent, you're paying for permission to use something that belongs to someone else. That permission lasts only as long as you keep paying. Once the payment stops, so does your access. The landlord takes back the keys. The leasing company takes back the car. The software subscription locks you out. The credit line gets closed. When you rent your life, you have no permanence. You're always dependent on someone else's terms. Ownership is security. When you own something, you can't be locked out of it. You don't need permission to use it. It's yours, and it can't be taken from you by a contract change, a price hike, or someone else's decision. Owning your home means no landlord can raise the rent or evict you. Owning your business means no boss can fire you. Owning your tools, equipment, or intellectual property means no one can suddenly take away your ability to earn. Ownership is stability. It's the solid ground under your feet when everything else in the world feels uncertain. the hidden cost of renting everything. Renting often feels easier in the short term, lower upfront cost, less responsibility, more flexibility. But over time, it's the most expensive way to live. Every payment you make is money that builds someone else's wealth. You're funding their mortgage, their asset growth, their retirement plan, while you own nothing at the end. This is why people can spend decades paying rent and still have nothing to show for it. It's a permanent treadmill. The wealthy build from the ground up. Wealthy people prioritize owning the base of their life first. They buy property instead of renting long-term. They own their business instead of just working for one. They own their equipment, vehicles, or production tools. Once the foundation is secure, they build additional layers of ownership on top of it. More assets, more income streams, more control. This creates a compounding effect. The base assets provide stability and reduce expenses, while new assets add growth and wealth. Why the foundation matters more than the decorations. Too many people focus on the decorations of life, the car, the clothes, the vacations, without ever securing the foundation. It's like putting expensive furniture in a house you don't own. One notice from the landlord, and it's all gone. The wealthy know that without a secure foundation, nothing else truly belongs to you. Moving from renting to owning. The shift doesn't have to happen all at once. You can start by asking yourself, what's the biggest expense in my life that I'm renting? And how can I redirect that money toward eventually owning it? It might be saving for a down payment on a home. It might be building your own online store instead of paying marketplace fees forever. It might be buying the tools you need instead of leasing them. Every step you take toward ownership reduces your dependence on others and strengthens your financial position. The bottom line: poor people rent their life and spend it working to pay for access to things they'll never own. Rich people own the ground they stand on and use it as a launch pad to build more. Ownership is not just about pride, it's about power, security, and the ability to live on your terms. If you want to stop living by someone else's rules, start by owning the foundation. Everything else you build will be stronger because of it. Long-term thinking. Ownership is the game of patience. Ownership is not a get-rich-quick game. It's not about instant results or overnight success stories. It's about planting seeds, nurturing them, and letting time do its work. The wealthy understand that true wealth grows like a tree, slowly at first, then faster as the roots take hold and the branches spread. The poor and middle class often miss out on this growth because they want fruit before the tree has even matured. The impatience trap. Most people live in a cycle of immediate gratification. If they don't see results in weeks or months, they quit. They switch investments, they abandon projects, they sell assets too soon. This impatience is exactly why they stay stuck, because wealth from ownership requires time, years, sometimes decades to fully mature. A rental property doesn't become a gold mine in the first month. A stock portfolio doesn't double in a week. A brand doesn't become a household name after 3 Instagram posts. Everything of value takes time to grow. Why time is an owner's greatest ally. When you own something, time works for you instead of against you. Every year that passes adds more growth, more appreciation, more cash flow. The work you did years ago continues to pay you today and will keep paying in the future. This is the opposite of a job. In a job, time works against you. The moment you stop working, the income stops. In ownership, the longer you hold, the stronger your position becomes. The power of compounding. The wealthy know that compounding, the process of earnings generating more earnings, is the most powerful financial force in the world. A business that reinvests profits grows faster. A stock portfolio that reinvests dividends accelerates. A piece of property that increases in value also increases your ability to leverage it for more investments. Compounding doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, in the background, until one day the growth becomes undeniable. Patience versus stagnation. Patience doesn't mean sitting still. It means continuing to build, invest, and improve while understanding that the biggest rewards are still ahead. The poor confuse patience with doing nothing, so they never start. The wealthy combine patience with consistent action, so they keep adding value to their assets until the results explode. The fast money illusion. Quick wins are seductive. Day trading, flipping trends, chasing viral moments, these might give you bursts of income, but they rarely lead to lasting wealth. The wealthy know that stability beats speed. They'd rather build something that lasts for decades than gamble for a spike in short-term gains. The seed and the forest. Think of each asset you own as a seed. The poor plant a seed, check it every day, and pull it out when they don't see a sprout immediately. The wealthy plant a seed, water it, protect it, and wait, knowing that one day it will grow into a tree that produces fruit every year. And here's the magic. Once you have a few strong trees, they produce enough seeds to grow an entire forest. Why most people never see this stage? Most people never get to the forest stage because they quit too early. They keep restarting, chasing something better instead of staying the course. They never give ownership enough time to show its full power. The bottom line. Ownership is the game of patience. You don't win by being the fastest. You win by being the one who stays in the game long enough to reap the rewards. If you want your assets to build real wealth, stop looking for instant results. Plant your seeds, protect them, and let time work its magic. The day will come when the income from what you own far outpaces anything you could earn from working alone, and it will feel like it happened suddenly. But it wasn't sudden. It was the result of years of patience.
You don't need to be rich to own. You just need a different mindset. One of the most damaging myths about wealth is the idea that ownership is only for the already wealthy. People believe you need a huge amount of money to start owning assets, so they put it off until someday, a day that never comes. The truth is, ownership is not reserved for millionaires. Ownership starts with a decision, not a dollar amount. The myth that keeps people waiting. When you believe you need to be rich before you can own assets, you create a perfect excuse for inaction. You tell yourself, I'll invest when I have more money. I'll buy property when I can afford a big house. I'll start a business when I have enough capital. But here's the reality. Most wealthy people didn't start owning after they became rich. They became rich because they started owning. Starting small is still starting. You don't need to buy an entire building to start owning real estate. You can begin with a single small unit, a shared investment, or even a REIT, a real estate investment trust. You don't need to own a multinational company to start being a business owner. You can begin with a small online store, a service you run from home, or a niche product you sell digitally. You don't need to buy 1,000 shares of a stock to become an investor. You can start with just one share and add more over time. Every small step toward ownership matters because assets compound. The earlier you start, the more time you give them to grow. The mindset shift that changes everything. The poor and middle class often think, when I have more money, I'll own something. The wealthy think, I'll use what I have now to start owning something. The wealthy see ownership as a priority, not a luxury.
They're willing to sacrifice comfort today for control tomorrow. They don't need the latest phone, the newest car, or the most expensive vacation because they know those things lose value the moment they're bought. Instead, they direct their money into assets that will grow in value and generate income. From consumer to investor, every purchase you make can either make you poorer or wealthier. If you buy something that loses value, you're playing the consumer's game. If you buy something that earns money or gains value, you're playing the owner's game. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy life or spend on things you love. It means you put ownership first and lifestyle upgrades second. The power of incremental ownership. The wealthy understand the power of stacking small wins. Owning one small asset may not change your life, but owning 10 small assets will. The key is consistency. Keep adding to your portfolio, no matter how small the steps feel in the moment. One rental unit becomes 2. 2 dividend-paying stocks become 20. One online store becomes multiple income streams. Over time, those small steps build the foundation of financial freedom. Breaking the all-or-nothing mentality. Many people think ownership has to be big, impressive, and life-changing right from the start, and this belief keeps them from starting at all. The truth is, every empire starts small. Every successful investor once made their first tiny investment. Every business owner once sold their first product. Ownership is a habit before it's a fortune. The bottom line, you don't need to be rich to start owning. You just need to shift your mindset from waiting to acting. Start small, start now, and let time and consistency do the heavy lifting. Because the moment you own even a single asset, you've crossed the line from being someone who works for money to someone who has money working for them. And that shift, no matter how small at first, is the start of true wealth. Mastering passive income. Control the cash flow. Control your life. Ownership is the foundation of wealth, but passive income is the force that transforms ownership into freedom. Passive income is money that flows to you without requiring constant labor. It's the rent from a property you own, the dividends from your investments, the royalties from your creative work, the sales from a business that runs with systems and teams, not your constant effort. When you control cash flow, you control your life. Why passive income is the ultimate goal of ownership? Owning something is powerful, but not all ownership produces income immediately. For example, owning land that just sits there without generating rent or crops is ownership, but it's not producing cash flow. Passive income is what turns assets into active contributors to your financial life. It's what pays your bills without you having to sell your time. It's what allows you to wake up in the morning and know that money is being made even as you focus on other things. The problem with only having active income: if your only income comes from a salary or hourly work, you are tied to the clock. You can't stop working without stopping the flow of money. Even if you love your job, this creates a constant vulnerability. Illness, layoffs, or burnout can cut off your income overnight. Passive income changes that dynamic. It removes the dependency on being physically present to earn. It gives you the space to breathe, plan, and build more assets without worrying about next month's bills. The types of passive income the wealthy focus on: real estate income, rental properties, commercial leases, or land leasing; investment income, from dividends from stocks, interest from bonds, returns from private equity; business income, from businesses that run with systems and teams, not your constant effort; royalty income, from books, music, patents, software, or creative works; digital assets, websites, online courses, subscription models, or e-commerce stores with automated fulfillment. These income sources take effort to set up, but once they're in place, they generate revenue whether you're working or not. The transition from active to passive income. Most people won't start their journey with passive income right away, and that's fine. The goal is to use active income, salary, freelance work, side hustles, as fuel to acquire assets that produce passive income. It's a gradual shift. At first, 100% of your income is active. Then you create your first passive income stream. Maybe it covers a small bill. You keep building until passive income covers your basic expenses. Eventually, passive income exceeds your active income. That's when work becomes optional. Why control matters as much as income? Not all passive income is equal. If you don't control the source of your passive income, you are still vulnerable. For example, if all your passive income comes from a single investment fund, a market crash could cut it off. Wealthy people diversify and make sure they control as much of the process as possible, owning the asset outright, holding equity, or having legal rights that protect their income stream. Control means stability. Stability means freedom. The freedom multiplier. When you have passive income covering your needs, every active dollar you earn becomes a tool for expansion, not survival. You can take bigger risks, invest more aggressively, and focus on projects that excite you instead of ones that simply pay the bills. This is why wealthy people often seem fearless in their investments. Their survival is already covered by passive income, so they can aim for growth without the fear of losing everything. The bottom line: active income is the starting point. Ownership is the foundation. Passive income is the bridge to freedom. When you control the cash flow, you control your life. Because freedom isn't just about having money, it's about having money that flows in whether you're working, resting, or creating the next big thing.
The ownership ecosystem, how assets multiply each other. Wealthy people don't just own random assets scattered in different places. They build what can be called an ownership ecosystem, a connected network of assets that feed, support, and grow each other. This is why their wealth grows faster than most people can imagine. It's not just because they have more money, it's because every asset they own strengthens the others, creating a chain reaction of growth. The difference between a collection and an ecosystem. Most people who manage to buy assets do it randomly. They might own a rental property here, some stocks there, maybe a small side business. But these assets don't interact or benefit each other. They're isolated. The wealthy think differently. They design their assets to connect so that the growth of one asset increases the value and income of another. They're not just collecting, they're building a system. How an ownership ecosystem works. Think of it like a well-planned city. The roads, or systems, connect every part. The power lines, or cash flow, keep everything running. The buildings, or assets, support each other's purpose. In a financial ecosystem, this might look like a personal brand that drives customers to your business. A business that uses its profits to buy real estate. Real estate that provides rental income to invest in stocks. Stocks that pay dividends, which are reinvested into the business. It's a loop. Money, influence, and value constantly moving between assets. Examples of asset synergy. Business plus real estate. A wealthy person might own both the business and the building it operates in. The business pays rent to the real estate company, and they own both. This means they earn twice from the same operation. Brand plus product ownership. A personal brand with a large audience can launch its own product line. Instead of paying to advertise someone else's product, they advertise their own, keeping all profits. Digital assets plus investments. An online course generates passive income, which is used to buy dividend stocks. The dividends fund more digital marketing to sell more courses, a growth loop. Why this speeds up wealth building? In a normal situation, you buy an asset, wait for it to grow, then buy another.
In an ecosystem, one asset actively fuels the creation of another, so growth accelerates. This is why wealthy people's net worth seems to jump in big leaps instead of slow steps. Their assets aren't just sitting there, they're working together. How to start building your own ecosystem. You don't need millions to start. You just need to think about connection instead of isolation. Identify your core asset. It might be your main business, a high-income skill, or a piece of property. Use its output to create the next asset. If your business generates profit, use part of it to invest in a rental property. If your property produces rent, invest that rent into an online business. Make each asset strengthen the others. Ask yourself, how can this asset make another one grow? The answer might be cash flow, marketing power, customer access, or influence. The self-sustaining wealth machine. Once you connect your assets, you're no longer just an owner, you're the architect of a system that can run for decades, even generations. One profitable business can create 3 new income streams. One property can fund multiple investments. One online platform can launch countless products. The result? Wealth that grows faster, stronger, and more predictably than anything built in isolation. The bottom line: wealth isn't just about owning more. It's about owning in a way that your assets talk to each other, feed each other, and multiply each other. That's the ownership ecosystem. And once you start building it, growth is no longer linear. It becomes exponential.
The most powerful assets are invisible. When most people think about assets, they picture something physical: a house, a car, a piece of land, a building filled with machinery. Physical assets are important, but the wealthiest people in the world know that the most powerful, profitable, and resilient assets are often invisible. You can't touch them, you can't park them in your driveway, you can't display them in your living room, but they can be worth far more than anything you can physically hold. What are invisible assets? Invisible assets are intangible forms of ownership that still have value, generate income, and can be bought, sold, or licensed. Examples include intellectual property, patents, copyrights, trademarks, software code. Brand equity, the reputation, recognition, and trust your name or company holds. Databases of people who already trust you enough to buy. Licensing rights, the right to use or distribute something valuable. Digital real estate, websites, social media accounts, SEO rankings, domain names. Systems and processes, proven, documented methods that create results consistently. These assets may not exist physically, but they can produce very real income. Why invisible assets are so powerful? They can scale infinitely. A physical product might require more materials, labor, and space to produce more units. An e-book, online course, or software can be sold to thousands of people without extra production cost. They often require low maintenance. Once created, many intangible assets require little ongoing expense compared to physical ones. They're harder to destroy. A building can burn down, machinery can break, but a brand or a patent can survive and be used anywhere in the world. They're borderless. A piece of land exists in one place. A digital asset can earn money from customers in every country on Earth. How the wealthy use invisible assets. The wealthiest individuals and companies often use invisible assets to multiply their income. A famous brand can license its name to other companies for millions without making a single product. A software company can develop one application and sell it to millions of users worldwide. An author can write one book that generates royalties for decades. A YouTube channel with millions of subscribers can generate ad revenue, sponsorships, and product sales without selling physical goods.
In many cases, these invisible assets become far more valuable than any physical property they own. Creating invisible assets without being rich first. You don't need huge capital to start building invisible assets. You can write a book or ebook, create a course on something you know well, build an email list by providing valuable free content, develop software, even if it's simple, that solves a specific problem, start a website that attracts consistent traffic over time. The key is to create something once that can be sold, licensed, or used to generate revenue many times over. The hidden wealth multiplier. Invisible assets are not only valuable on their own, they can enhance the power of your physical assets. For example, a strong brand increases the value of every product you sell. A customer database lowers marketing costs for any new venture you launch. A proprietary system can make your physical business more efficient, increasing profits. This is why wealthy people never underestimate the value of owning what others can't easily copy. The bottom line: the most powerful assets you can own are often the ones you can't see. They don't rust, break, or fade in the sun. They can live forever in the digital space, grow without physical limits, and produce income in every time zone. If you want to play the game as the wealthy, start building ownership in things that go beyond the visible. Because when the world changes, and it always does, the invisible assets are often the ones that survive. The ownership action plan. How to start when you have nothing. One of the biggest objections people have when they hear about ownership is this: it's easy to talk about owning assets when you already have money. But what if I have nothing? What if I'm starting from zero? The truth is, you can start building ownership from any financial position. You may not be able to buy a skyscraper, but you can own something and then build on it. Wealthy people don't wait until they're rich to start owning. They start owning first, and that's how they get rich. This is your ownership action plan, the roadmap to go from zero to building a real portfolio of assets. Step 1. Audit your current position. You can't improve what you don't understand. Write down how much money you earn each month, active income, how much you spend each month, what assets you currently own, even small ones, tools, skills, a website, a savings account, and what liabilities you have, debts, loans, expenses that don't produce value. This is your starting point. No judgment, just data. Step 2. Cut the money leaks. Before you can buy assets, you need to free up capital. Most people underestimate how much they waste on subscriptions they never use, impulse purchases, lifestyle upgrades that don't improve their life. Every unnecessary expense is money that could be building ownership. Your first asset is the extra cash you save by plugging these leaks. Step 3. Build a small war chest. Wealth starts with capital, but it doesn't need to be huge. Aim to save a small amount every month specifically for investing in ownership. Even $50, $100, or $200 a month can be enough to begin. The key is to make this non-negotiable. It's your future ownership fund. Step 4. Acquire your first asset. This doesn't need to be expensive. It could be a single share of a strong company, a domain name you believe will grow in value, a piece of equipment you can use to create products or services, a small digital product you build and sell online. The goal here is to cross the line from 0% ownership to 1% ownership. Once you own something, you've started the game. Step 5. Reinvest profits instead of spending them. The biggest mistake beginners make is cashing out small profits and spending them. Wealthy people reinvest until the asset becomes self-sustaining. Example: you create a small ebook that earns $50 a month. Instead of spending it, you use that $50 to run ads and sell more books, doubling your income. Then you take the $100 and invest in another asset. Step 6. Stack and diversify. Never stop at one asset. Once your first asset is stable, add another. Over time, you want a mix of cash flow assets, pay you regularly, appreciating assets, grow in value, strategic assets, help other assets grow. This mix creates stability and long-term growth. Step 7. Connect your assets into a system. Once you have multiple assets, link them together so they support each other. A website can promote your book. Book royalties can fund a stock portfolio. Stock dividends can fund your next real estate investment. This is how you turn random assets into a wealth-building ecosystem. Step 8. Protect what you own. As your assets grow, you'll need to protect them from risk. This means legal protection, LLCs, trademarks, copyrights, insurance for physical assets, cybersecurity for digital assets, diversification so one failure doesn't destroy everything. Wealthy people are not only builders, they are protectors. The bottom line: starting from nothing is not a disadvantage. It's an opportunity to build with discipline from day one. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect amount to start. Begin where you are with what you have. Buy your first asset, reinvest, stack more assets, link them together, protect them. If you follow this plan consistently, you'll look back years from now and realize you've built something that no job could ever give you. Freedom through ownership. Freedom doesn't come from income. It comes from ownership. After everything we've covered, one truth stands above all. No matter how much money you earn, income alone will never set you free. Freedom isn't the result of working harder, getting promoted, or doubling your salary. Freedom comes from owning things that continue to pay you, whether you work or not. Why income without ownership is a trap? You can have a high-paying job, a corner office, and a prestigious title. But if every dollar you earn depends on your constant presence, you are still trapped. Your income is chained to your calendar. Your lifestyle is at the mercy of your employer, your health, and your ability to keep running at full speed. One layoff, one economic downturn, one personal crisis, and it all stops. This isn't wealth. This is dependency dressed up as success. Why ownership is the real source of freedom? Ownership means control. It means the asset works for you, not the other way around. It means your life isn't dictated by a paycheck or a boss. When you own income-producing assets, you have leverage, the ability to earn without constantly trading hours for dollars. When you own appreciating assets, you have growth, the ability for your wealth to multiply over time without extra effort. When you own intangible assets like brand, intellectual property, or systems, you have resilience, the ability to adapt and survive even in changing markets. The psychological freedom of ownership. Financial freedom isn't just about having enough money to pay your bills. It's about having enough control over your income that you're no longer living in fear. Ownership gives you the confidence to say no to work that doesn't align with you, the ability to take time off without worrying about lost income, the security to weather economic storms without panicking, the freedom to pursue projects that matter to you, not just the ones that pay. Income is temporary. Ownership is permanent. The difference between the poor, the middle class, and the wealthy is simple. The poor focus on survival. The middle class focus on earning more. The wealthy focus on owning more. And once you shift your focus to ownership, you'll start to see money in a new way. Every dollar you earn is a potential seed. You can spend it, or you can plant it into an asset that grows and produces more dollars. Your next step. You don't have to own everything right away. Start with one thing, one asset, one source of passive income. Reinvest what it earns into another asset. Build an ecosystem where your assets work together, feeding each other and multiplying your wealth. In a few years, your life will look completely different, not because you found the perfect job or negotiated the highest salary, but because you built something permanent. The final truth? You can double your income and still be broke if you own nothing. You can cut your working hours in half and still be free if you own enough. Wealth is not measured by the size of your paycheck. It's measured by the assets you control. The assets that keep paying you when you're resting. The assets that your children can inherit. The assets that no one can take away. So stop chasing income as the finish line. Start building ownership as your foundation. Because freedom doesn't come from what you earn. It comes from what you own.